Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today we are going to make an arrangement for a funeral, but it is going to go on the altar table of the church. So it's a one-sided arrangement. We're actually using a large urn, but we have it positioned on this stool so that you can actually see the flowers. So we felt like it was more important that you saw the arrangement versus just seeing the container and us cutting off the flowers. So we're gonna get started. What we like to do in this large urn, so this is a rental container here at our shop. We take what we call a disposable urn. It actually has a bottom that pops onto it. It's just a plastic container. We filled it with fresh floral foam and we tucked it right down into this container. I actually have it, I have some material around it to keep it in place. We're going to start out with our line flower first. So our first flower that we're going to use is going to be larkspur. And honestly, I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this door away from this arrangement so that you can see the white flowers go in. So I'm just going to slide the door right over so you can see the white flowers go into the container. Because on that light background, it's hard to see the white flowers. Okay, I'm going to start out with larkspur. I'm going to take my knife. I'm not adding my foliage yet. I am going to add my flowers and then I'll put my foliage in place last. So I'm just taking stems of lark and I am just tucking them right down into that floral foam. And see, on that dark background, you're able to see each flower go in. And if I had left the background white, you couldn't see my flowers. So when you're doing a flower arrangement, so this is a one-sided arrangement. That means we won't have flowers on the back side, it'll just be greenery. So when you're doing a one-sided arrangement, when you go to place your flowers into the floral foam, place it as far back in the floral foam as you possibly can. So you want to go into the very back of that foam. So I'm just taking my lark and adding it right into that floral foam. And I'm kind of working in a fan shape, you know, just a traditional church arrangement style. All right, so my larkspur is in place. I think I'm going to move that door a little more. There, now you can see it completely. Next, we're going to come in with bells of Ireland. So I have pretty green bells of Ireland. I'm going to pinch the tips out of those bells. And I'm just using my floral knife and cutting that stem at an angle. These bells aren't quite as large as they have been in the past. It's funny how you just never know what size you're going to get. So now you can see each flower going into place. That makes a lot of difference. Okay, so I am just still working in a fan-shaped style. And you do that because we're not going to have any flowers on the back side. You want all the flowers on the front side of the arrangement. So there's our bells of Ireland in place. Next, we're going to come in with some white hydrangeas. So I have 5 stems of white hydrangeas we're going to tuck in. So I have a little cup of quick dip. And so I am going to take that hydrangea, set that down because I'm going to spill it. I cut that stem at an angle and then I'm dipping it in quick dip. Now, quick dip is a hydrating solution that helps keep the heads of the hydrangeas hydrated. So I cut it and I dipped it in that quick dip, and I dipped it for about 7 seconds, maybe a little longer. So I take and remove any foliage from the hydrangea. Dip it for about 7 seconds. And just tuck those hydrangeas right into that arrangement. Now I have been arranging the flowers first and then adding the foliage last. And I have found that when I do that, I am not having to use quite as much foliage. And if I don't use as much foliage, it means that the money I was going to spend on foliage, I can put back into flowers. And so that's the reason I have been doing my flowers first and then my foliage last. Now, there's no right or wrong. You can do it however you're the most comfortable. So don't feel like you have to do it one way or the other, because really there's not a right or wrong way, okay? So there are 4 hydrangeas there. Have one more. There's our 5th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hydrangeas, larkspur, and bells of Ireland. Next, we're going to come in with some white daisies. White daisies are just going to fill, oh, and a red rose tucked in there. I'm going to pull him out real quick, put him back in my bucket. White daisies are just going to help us fill in some of the space. And again, I am just arranging in a fan shape. And now you can really see that our arrangement is taking a little more form. Okay, there's our daisies. Next we will come in with our roses. So this arrangement is supposed to be maroon and white. So the roses we chose to use are these beautiful heart roses. Heart roses are really a deeper red, which is always nice. And so I'm going to take these roses and we are going to work all the way through the center. I'm going to take and remove some of these guard petals. Now a guard petal is just the petal on the outside of a bud. And what they do is they protect that rose when it's tight and closed. So when it starts to open and you go to arrange, go ahead and pull off those guard petals, just because they're not always pretty. Now sometimes they are, and you can leave them on if you prefer. One way or the other, it doesn't matter. But I usually, depending on the rose, I like to remove the guard petals. anytime a rose has a bump or a bruise, go ahead and remove any of the petals that are bumped or bruised. It's not hurting the rose at all. It's just taking off any petals that are bad. Go ahead and pull those off. I'm going to take my floral knife and I am just going ahead and taking the points off of some of those thorns. And that's just strictly because they bite. Not for any other reason. These roses have been wired. If you've watched any of my videos, you know I like to wire roses, and all of these roses have been wired. It just saves us a little time if we wire them before we get started. Well, I can get that little rose in there. All right, there's our heart roses. Next, we're going to come in with some Hyperion berries, and that's going to help us distribute some of the maroon. So our Hyperion berries came a little redder than I would prefer. So we popped it with a little bit of maroon paint. And so that just helped give us a little more maroon. And we're going to scatter this throughout so that that maroon So I've just about got my maroon all the way through our arrangement. Okay, so there's our Hyperion berries, our maroon Hyperion berries. Next we're going to come in with some focal flowers. So we've got some beautiful white gerbera daisies, and we're going to wire their little heads. So let me show you how we'll do that. So I'm going to take that gerbera, and there's a green disc on the back. You see that little disc? I'm going to take and push that wire right into that disc and just twist it right around that stem. Now that's going to make me be able to manipulate that stem just a little bit, and we're going to use these guys as our focal flowers. And you can kind of, but be careful when using that wire and kind of turning that head and manipulating that stem. They're a little tender and they will break, so you always have to be kind of careful. We are just about ready for some filler flower and some greenery for our arrangement. This guy's leaning. Let's move him back up. All right, one more gerbera daisy. All right, so there are our all of our flowers. Next we're going to come in, let's come in with our greenery next, and then we'll add our filler flower and we will have a finished arrangement. I'm going to grab my foliage. And the foliage we're using today includes jade, aspidistra, aspidistra or cast iron plant, and then aurelia. My mind went blank for a second. Some aurelia. So we're going to start out with our jade, our palm. And I'm going to just take each stem, cut that at an angle, and just tuck it right into our floral foam. And I'm still working in that fan shape. How much is this? No. And really all we're doing is filling in those empty places with our foliage. Okay, and I'm just adding my foliage. We are just about, there's our, some of our jade. Okay, and I'm going to turn my arrangement around. Actually, I'll do that in a little bit, but I'm just going to be sure to add greenery to the back side of your container. So take your foliage and add greenery to the back side, just so that it's not empty. It's important that it's finished, okay? Next, we're going to finish with our aspidistra. So we're going to take our aspidistra leaves, cut those at an angle. Okay, thank you, Victoria. And just take those pretty leaves and just fill in your arrangement until it is full and pretty. Got me. All right. And last, we're going to add just a little bit of aurelia, and then we'll finish our arrangement with some wax flower. Now all of this foliage, you could pop it with a little bit of paint if you wanted to. We could use that maroon paint and it would be beautiful, or you can just leave it alone, but you can use any color paint. So if you had a gold accent, you could certainly add some gold paint to your foliage. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me this afternoon. If you have any questions about how we do things here at our shop, you know you can certainly ask in the comments below. If you've not already subscribed to our channel, be sure to hit that little subscribe button. And if you'll hit that little bell, it'll give you notifications for when we have a new video. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful afternoon and we'll see you real soon. Thank you.